Grocery store execs may soon get a grilling from parliamentarians for suddenly cutting pandemic pay increases for frontline employees. Remember, they gave them a $2 increase, and now, poof, it's gone. Liberal MP Nathaniel Erskine-Smith is calling on a House committee to put representatives from Loblaw, Metro and Sobeys, companies who've seen profits surge amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, in the hot seat for canceling the wage boost for grocery store workers, or heroes as they were once called. How is it also that all three major grocery chains all just happened to cancel the $2 hour pandemic pay raise on the same day? Let's find out. Nathaniel Erskine-Smith joins us now. Sir, good to have you on the program. Why do you want these execs to be questioned? What do you want to ask them?
Well, two things fundamentally. First, we're in the middle of a pandemic. The modest pay increase, reasonably, of $2 was made in the course of this pandemic. And I think this pandemic's given a lot of us pause to reconsider whether we are compensating essential workers in our society enough. And I'd like to know why the pay was canceled in the middle of a pandemic. And two, and principally to the point of the industry committee, our committee is responsible for the competition laws of Canada. When we see these three major chains all cancel this pay on the same day at the same time, I'd like to know if there was cooperation among them, if there was collaboration among them, and if there was collusion among them.
And we've seen among some chains before around the price of bread. Remember the price fixing on bread and the collusion there. Are you concerned about that in this case as well?
There obviously has been history of collusion. You mentioned the bread example, and in the end, we don't have enough information. This is exactly why I'd like to hear from senior executives from every single one of these companies. But I think it's our responsibility as parliamentarians on this committee to ensure that there isn't collusion in reducing wages of our essential workers in the middle of a pandemic.
This is a private sector, though. What business is it of the government, whether a public company or a private company is setting their own wages for workers? Isn't it up to them to do that?
Well, so if I was at the provincial level, I'd say it's absolutely the responsibility of governments to look at minimum wages. We, at the federal level, though, have the Prime Minister said today that we want to make sure essential workers are being paid what they deserve, and the minimum wage isn't enough. And we've, as a federal government, entered into collaboration and partnership with provinces to increase the pay of essential workers. And whether it's at a long-term care home, a nursing home, or a grocery store, I do think as a society we ought to be reconsidering what essential work is and whether we're compensating essential workers, frontline workers, enough. But competition laws are squarely within federal jurisdiction, squarely within the jurisdiction of our committee. And it doesn't matter if you are a private company, you are answerable to the competition laws of our country.
How much of these companies made? Has the COVID crisis been profitable for them?
So we have seen record profits from all three of these chains, double-digit percentages, over 20, over 30% increases in profits for these companies in the course of the pandemic. And so the idea that they would say, here's your $2 wage increase, essential workers, and oh, by the way, it's going to last for a short period of time, and we're, as executives, going to enjoy our profits, it's really frustrating to see. And I've certainly heard from, in the course of, I just introduced the motion yesterday. It's going to proceed to a vote on Thursday, and I expect to have support from my colleagues. But already, I've received a lot of correspondence from grocery store frontline workers to say this hearing absolutely needs to happen. It's unacceptable.
Okay, just last question, sir. The economy is reopening, though, right? And I get it. There's still real concerns about the virus, but a lot of workers are going back to work. Are you suggesting this wage increase be permanent?
As I say, I think we should have a serious conversation as a society about how we pay essential workers. And we've seen at the worst of this crisis, we saw our frontline grocery store workers, our frontline healthcare professionals, and those in nursing homes go into very dangerous working conditions in many instances. And these are, in some cases, the lowest paid members of our society. And I think we do have to rethink that. We've seen Galen Weston say, I would love to see governments move in and increase the minimum wage, and we should have a more progressive minimum wage. We've seen the same thing from other significantly wealthy individuals in our society. They can act on their own. They don't need governments to act. And ultimately, I would say provinces should increase the minimum wage, and we should pay essential workers what they deserve.
Yeah, again, record profits during the crisis. They just pulled back the pandemic pay of $2. Sir, great to have you on the program. Nathaniel Erskine-Smith, thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.